welcome to another episode of Raw Sports Radio. I'm your host, Straight Talk Ted, and we're going to do a quick recap on the games the other night. Um, the game was between the first game we're going to go through tonight was the game, the Brooklyn Nets playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers the other night. Great game. Kyrie and KD did their thing the other night. It seems like they're trying to put it together. Uh, Drummond had a good game the other night. Give you kind of idea what kind of game they had as far as percentage wise. They shot 53% from the field the other night. The Brooklyn Nets, so that's pretty good. And unfortunately, the Cleveland Cavaliers only at 44%. As far as leading scorers, Cleveland had Garland had 34. He had a great game tonight. Unfortunately, he didn't get a lot of help. Mobley had 19 points, and Love chipped in with 14 points the other night. Durant had a good game, 25 points, solid game. Brown had a good game, 18 points. And you had Drummond who had 16 points. And that's pretty good for Drummond, man. That's what we need him to do for Brooklyn to be successful during this playoff run. And, of course, Kyrie did his thing. He had 34 points the other night. Only thing missing now is hopefully they can get Simmons to play. You know what I mean, Ben? Because but I tell you, man, he had this green outfit on the other night, man. I don't know if he was throwing subliminals, but I think he was trying to say that he'll be ready to play against the Celtics, maybe in game 3 or game 4. But I still think the Nets need to still kind of, work on that front court as far as the big men. They gotta have to play some defense, man. I mean, KD did his thing the other night, man. He showed that he could still play D. He blocked a shot the other night, man, during the game, man. It was awesome, man. And I just couldn't believe, that KD was stepping it up like that on the defensive end. So I got to give him credit when credit is due. He played very well defensively, just showing people that he could still do it on both ends of the court. So, like I said, the Nets look good. I look forward to watching them play against my Celtics in the next round of the playoffs. That's going to be interesting. I tell you, I'm a Celtic fan, as you know, but in order for us to really show people that we're ready to be in this position, we gotta beat the Nets, man. It's gonna be a tough out. The next game we can talk about is the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets, man. Wow, Atlanta, man, with that playoff experience for the last 2 years, they kind of did the Charlotte Hornets in, man. They kind of blew them out 132 to 103. As far as Charlotte's concerned, Ball had a good 26 points the other night. Rozier had 21. And that's basically, that's it for them scoring. Bridges had a bad game the other night. He didn't play too well. As far as the field goal percentage, Atlanta shot 52%. And Charlotte was at a decimal 37%. So, but I tell you, Capella had a big game the other night, man, for Atlanta. He had 28 points. I think it's Herter had 24 points. Young as usual, had 27 points. And Hunter had 27 points. So, a lot of firepower was shown in that game the other night, man. It seems interesting that Capella played so well. It makes me wonder, being the fact that Collins didn't play, maybe that's why he was more involved offensively, because, when Collins in the game, he gets a lot of looks and a lot of touches. So, but it's interesting that Capella had a real big game the other night, man. So I look forward to watching Atlanta as well move on to the playoffs. It should be interesting to see what Trae Young and them do. Remember, they do have the experience. Remember, they did knock off Philadelphia the other year. So this is going to be very interesting. So I look forward to watching to see how Atlanta, go in the next round. So, but it was another game on the other night that was very interesting. Was this game here, the Clippers and the Minnesota. I tell you, man, it was kind of like a not emotional game for Beverly, but it was kind of game that he wanted to really make an impact on the game, and he sure did the other night. As far as scoring goes, George had 34 points the other night. He came back, played well. But this picture right here, I want to show you this picture right here. Basically, Beverly made the game-winning play the other night. He stole the ball from Jackson, just straight up stripped him, Chicago style. You know what I'm saying? And he had some pretty interesting words to say after the steal. He was talking to the fans, man. He was really very emotional It seemed like he had something to prove. He had like something he had to get off his chest, man. He was kind of upset, not upset, but I think he was very happy at the same time. But I think he felt that the Clippers probably shouldn't have traded him. I guess he felt he had a lot more life left and he could have played a lot more ball for them. But apparently they went in a different direction. So, but like I said, he's coming up laughing now, man. He right now, the way he played the other night and the way he was so, in his feelings the other night, man, you thought he won a championship the other night, man, because he was like, yo, he was not, biting his tongue about how he felt about that game the other night. But as far as the scoring, like I said, George had 34 points for the Clippers. Jackson had 17 and Powell had 16 points. As far as Minnesota, man, Edwards had a whopping 30 points. Russell had 29 points and Beasley had 12 points. Yeah, so basically Edwards, Edwards just keeps growing. He keeps getting better and better. They talk about him possibly being like Jordan is before his career is all over. So we're gonna see what happens. But yeah, and like I said, Russell and Beasley both had good games the other night. But also, you look at the percentages, man. As far as points in the paint, Minnesota won that battle, 36. Second chance points, 8-14. They won that battle. Fast break points, 8-12. So, in all the categories, Minnesota kind of did pretty well, and that's why they won the game the other night, and that's why they be moving on to play in the playoffs even further. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Minnesota. But one of the more surprising games of the night was San Antonio against the New Orleans Pelicans the other night. And that was interesting because, this is a possibility that it may be Popovich's, last coaching stint with the San Antonio Spurs. He might be moving on. It's going to be interesting. But I tell you, these two guys here, McCullough and Ingram, they did their thing the other night, man. And it makes me wonder, as far as McCullough, he was the leader the other night. He set the momentum. He did his thing. But it makes me wonder in regards to when he played for Portland, was him playing with Dame Lillard was kind of like, being Robin. He wasn't able to really do what he needed to do as far as express himself offensively. The other night, man, with the Pelicans, he sure did that, man. He was the leader clearly in this game. He did his thing the other night. When they needed a basket, he stepped up. You saw as far as situational basketball, he stepped up. So, as far as the scoring goes the other night, I tell you, let me see. Yeah, you had boom, 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 boom. Murray had 16 points. Poteet had 16 points, and Vassell had 23 points for San Antonio. And but like I said, field goal percentage of a lie. New Orleans Pelicans had like 50. They shot 54% from the field, and San Antonio only had 40%. Now Ingram had 27 points last night. Valanciunas had 22 points the other night, and McCullough had a whopping 32 the other night, man. And basically, what's interesting about this game is that in all the categories, San Antonio led in a lot of the categories, but they still lost the game. I guess on the field goal percentage, that's what killed them. You know what I'm saying? But I tell you, this is going to be interesting. It's a possibility that the big boy might come back, man. I don't know. We'll see. I see he's warming up and he's doing his thing, but I don't know. We got to see if he's going to be able to play after he had the leg injury, man. Well, not leg injury, whatever was going on. I don't know if it was his knee or his leg or his foot, but we'll see if they can get him back. It's a possibility he may be able to play. But I tell you, I liked what McCullough did the other night, man. He really showed that, that he can still be a leader and he can still lead a team. And I think they're going to be okay in the playoffs, man. We'll see what happens with Ingram. I mean, I think the sky's the limit, man, with this team. You never know. We're going to see what happens from this point going on in the playoffs, man. But overall, man, these are the games that happened the other night. You got some games that are coming back on Friday night. We definitely will do a preview on that. But I tell you, yeah, this is how it's supposed to be, provided that if my man Zoe comes back. I don't know, man. If he comes back, it could be an awesome a Three Musketeer kind of situation. We don't know, but like I said, until he's cleared to play, we don't know what's going to happen with him. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, what's interesting about it in regards to is the San Antonio Spurs, whether Popovich has coached this last game. Popovich, he's not going to really give you too much with his facial expressions, but he seemed a little emotional, but he never really showed it. But you could tell by his body language that this might be the last game for him as a head coach of the Spurs. I tell you, man, he's going to be missed, man, because he's one of the top coaches in this league's history, man. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does as far as moving on. I think he'll still probably be involved with the Olympic teams. Probably, I think he probably still have a hand to do with that. But I mean, the guy's been coaching for a very long time, man. And sometimes it's like just like Mike Krzyzewski, man. Sometimes you got to know when to fold, man. Know when to walk away. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Spurs do and who will be the next possibly head coach if he decides to step down and move on. So, but in any event, I just want to give you guys a quick rundown on the games the other day, man. And like I said, we got some games coming on Friday night, and we'll probably talk about that and do a quick recap on that, or get an understanding of what's going on with the playoffs in regards to those teams. But thanks again for tuning in, and like I said, be safe tonight, travel safely, and we'll be talking to you soon. Like I said, this is another episode of Raw Sports Radio, and I'll be tuning out. My name is Straight Talk Ted, and we'll see you soon. Easy.